Welcome, this is Matt and Cheryl, and today we are at Magic Kingdom, the kingdom with the most rides at Walt Disney World Resort.
Magic Kingdom at Disney World has 6 different lands, and in this episode, we're going to take you on a tour of Fantasyland.
On your way back to Fantasyland, the first thing you're going to see is Cinderella's castle, which is a twin of the castle at the Tokyo location. Cinderella's castle is almost 200 feet tall.
Anything over 200 feet tall needs to have an aircraft light on it in the state of Florida, so they built it just a shade below. To make it appear taller, they used forced perspective. The castle gets smaller the higher it goes, so it makes it appear taller. Then you'll walk through Cinderella's castle, and as you go through it, you'll see some very cool mosaics on the wall with great detail, and you'll come out and you'll see Prince Charming's Carousel.
The Carousel is one of the original rides that opened at Walt Disney World in 1971. It opened with the name Cinderella's Golden Carousel and has now been changed to Prince Charming's Regal Carousel. But Cinderella still does have her very own horse with a gold bow on the end of the tail. The next thing you will see is Mickey's PhilharMagic, which is actually a 3D show that lasts 12 minutes long featuring Donald Duck. It's a great way to just relax in the middle of a long day at Disney World.
Right next to Mickey's PhilharMagic is Peter Pan's Flight. This has always been one of the most popular rides at Disney World and at Disneyland, with one of the longest lines of any ride in Fantasyland. When this ride first opened in Disneyland, there was some confusion among ride goers who didn't see Peter Pan in the ride, and they didn't really realize that you are Peter Pan flying over the city of London.
This is still my very favorite Fantasyland ride. I think it's incredible that even though the movie was released in 1953 and the ride opened with Walt Disney World in 1971, it is still a beloved ride of many who visit the park.
Up next, right across the walkway is It's a Small World. This is kind of an infamous ride because the song is so memorable, partly because when you go on the ride, which is about 10 minutes long, you hear the same song over and over. This is something we laugh about because it drives one of our kids crazy.
It actually plays this song 1,200 times a day on average. And it was written by Richard Sherman for the World's Fair in 1964, and he didn't think that this song would last very long. He thought, oh, Disney will get the song for a couple years and then no one will ever hear it again.
This really is a delightful little boat ride, and I like all the animatronics on the ride.
There's actually 289 of them, and when they built the ride, they said, do not worry about the cost of the costumes, just make those dolls look awesome, and they have. Right next to It's a Small World is Pinocchio's Village House, a quick service restaurant where you can get a bite to eat. It was themed after the 1940 hit Pinocchio, where the fairy says, little boys who can't be good might as well be made of wood. You might need to give that quote to your children as you go through the park throughout the day.
We stopped in here for a little pizza to keep us going. The movie Pinocchio is one of the most critically acclaimed of all the Disney movies. It was made in 1940. But unfortunately it was not a commercial success because of World War II. From me, Gaston. Okay, up next is the Little Mermaid ride. And this ride, of course, is based on the movie The Little Mermaid, which was released in 1989. I remember when this came out, and I was in art class, and it was a real big deal. It was a big deal. It was a huge, smashing success, and it kicked off what a lot of people call the Disney Renaissance in movies. Shortly after The Little Mermaid came out, The Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, Hercules, Mulan, a lot of movies like that. And Disney had a number of hits in the 1990s, and this is the movie that started it all.
I thought that this was probably the funnest line in Fantasyland. It was really cute, really fun. And the other nice thing about it is the line goes really quickly. It's built just like the Haunted Mansion with the continuous cars going along, and so it boards very quickly. Has lots of cute animatronics in it. I just thought this was a delightful ride. One thing that did surprise me is it did take Disney 22 years to put this attraction in after this amazing movie came out, but it just goes to show you how The Little Mermaid has stood the test of time.
See you later.
Okay, up next is A Land Within a Land. So Storybook Circus is kind of like a section of Fantasyland here, and it has a show, a playground for kids, and 2 kiddie rides that you can go on.
Goofy's Barnstormer is a really popular kiddie coaster. It's one of the few rides in Fantasyland that requires someone to be a certain height, but you need to be 35 inches tall, and luckily most 3-year-olds are that tall. And if you blink, you're gonna miss the ride because it is that short.
It lasts about 30 seconds.
Dumbo is another original Disney World ride that was there when the park opened. However, they've now added a second Dumbo ride right next to it, exactly the same, to double the capacity, which this line can get pretty long too, but gives wonderful aerial views of the park.
It is really a great theming for a kid's ride. You walk into the barn before you go out onto what is really a simple kid's ride, but really nice theming there, I think.
Yeah, and surprisingly fun.
Lever all the way up, don't let it go. The longer you hold, the higher Dumbo will fly.
Figures can walk to the nearest exit. See you.
Up next is the Mad Tea Party from Alice in Wonderland, made in 1955. Now, I don't particularly enjoy this ride, but I do enjoy listening to the very end birthday song that they play along with it, and it is fun to watch other people spin on those cups and get sick.
Our next stop is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. This is a relatively new ride in the park that is really popular and has really long lines. This, of course, is based on the movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which was the very first full feature length movie, animated movie that was released. So Walt Disney put basically his entire career on the line to create a full-length feature animated movie. A lot of people called it Disney's Folly because they said it was going to be a complete failure. He spent about $1 million on the movie and made over $9 million in return, which really launched the Disney Animation Studios from there.
Everything about this ride is charming and cute. From the line to the ride, it even has some special carts that kind of, I don't know how you describe it. They sway.
They
on
have
the
a
track.
new tilting feature.
Yes.
This is, I believe, the only coaster in the world right now with this tilting feature.
Mm-hmm. It was built in 2014. It does have a height requirement of 38 inches, which is about the height of a 4-year-old. And I think any child over 4 would enjoy this ride. It's not scary, it's just fun.
It's a very smooth ride. It has two rises and falls, and it goes indoors and outdoors. Really a well done ride. At the very end, you get to see Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with a special visitor.
To wrap up our tour of Fantasyland is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. That movie came out in 1977, and 22 years later, they built a ride in 1999. Winnie the Pooh is a dark ride that has all the darling characters, some fun music, a great one for the little ones to wrap up the day.
One day, under the owl, the east wind. The rain went away, and everyone gathered together to say,
Okay, we hope you enjoyed that tour of Fantasyland. Thank you so much for joining us.
And we would love to hear what your favorite Fantasyland attraction is. Please post it in the comments and tell us what you love and why you love it.
If you like this video, please click the like button. We would really appreciate that.
Thanks for watching.